Arriving at Queen's Park Station. Doors will open on the left. Line 1 Finch. Please stand clear of the doors.
Hey everyone, it is Sunday, February 14th, which means it's Valentine's Day. The time is 4:31 p.m. and the temperature outside is minus 4 degrees Celsius. I'm here at Queen's Park Station in downtown Toronto. And the plan for this one is to head on up to College Street. And then once on College Street, I'll walk west over to McCaul Street. And then I'll head south down the entire length of McCaul. And I'll cross Queen Street west and then continue on down Duncan Street and Ed Mirvish Way. Then once I get to King Street west, I think I'll head on over to St. Andrew's Station. Sorry if I do sound a bit muffled right now. I will take the mask off once I'm outside. And here we go. This is the intersection of College and University. And there's a look north at Queen's Park. And I'll look south down University Avenue. And now I'm currently walking west along the south side of College Street. And nothing really says Valentine's Day like a random walk through downtown. I think the guy in front of me is wondering why I'm talking to myself. And here's a proposal for this site here. 61-story, 208-meter tall office tower. Looks like they'll be putting an addition on top of this building as part of the plans. And this is one of my favorite old buildings in the city. It's the Toronto Athletic Club, otherwise known as the Stewart Building. And that was built back in 1894. It was designed by E.J. Lennox, who's also responsible for the Old City Hall, the King Edward Hotel, and Casa Loma. He was responsible for something around 30 or so older buildings in the city. Well, of course they'd be older. Can't imagine how he designed a newer building. And that was actually home to the first indoor swimming pool in the city of Toronto. To the north of here is mostly the University of Toronto St. George campus. There goes the 506 Carlton streetcar. And this here is the north end of McCaul Street. So as I mentioned, I'll take this south down to where it ends at Queen Street West. And I get to walk towards the CN Tower the whole time. And this building here on the left is an old administration office. It's currently the exam center at U of T. Well, one of many, I'm sure. And this building dates back to 1915. Here's the Ronald McDonald House. They do a lot of work with children in need, at least that's my understanding. And this is McCaul Ord Park. And I think that's Mount Sinai Hospital just behind the park, and just to the south of that is the Princess Margaret Cancer Research Hospital. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. But this is the western side of what's known as Hospital Row. McCaul has a rather unique mix of residential and commercial buildings, including some of these old townhomes. Couldn't tell you how old they are, but I would guess probably at least 100 years old. And here's an old house. I don't see a plaque, but this goes back to the late 1800s, I think. I can't imagine that being built in the 1900s. I do have a bit of interest in terms of how old these structures are. There's what looks to be a Chinese church. And I don't know what the plans are for this lot. And just up ahead is Baldwin Street. I think this used to be a Korean barbecue restaurant on the corner here. It is now a St. Louis Bar and Grill. And this area is known as Baldwin Village. And to the west of here is Chinatown, hence the Chinese characters on the sign. And Baldwin Street actually extends all the way into Kensington Market on the other side of Chinatown, or rather Spadina Avenue. And this line up here is either for Jimmy's Coffee or Krispy Kreme donuts. I think it's safe to say they're all lined up for the donut shop. I'd imagine there's some kind of Valentine's giveaway going on, or deal. This is Darcy Street. And here's St. Patrick Church. I think this building on the left goes back to 1861, and the church on the right goes back to 1908. They were on a list of historical buildings I looked up while on the subway making my way down here. But it didn't really specify which was which. They are connected though. And this here on the right is a pub called Sin and Redemption. And this is Dundas Street West. Let's look at the Frank Gehry designed Art Gallery of Ontario, at least the new addition to it. And towards the end of this walk, I'll be walking by a site where there's a couple of skyscrapers designed by Frank Gehry that they're planning to build at Ed Mirvish Way and King Street. Let's look back at the Village Genius Pub. And we'll look east down Dundas. I think the view might be a little better on the other side of the street. That's Village by the Grange on the left. It's kind of a really old style mall. They have a food court. And there is a look up at OCAD University on the right. Kind of fishing for a thumbnail view. I started a walk through Chinatown a couple of days ago in Grange Park, which is just in front of OCAD on the other side. And OCAD has gone by a number of different names over the years, but in 2002, it was granted university status. And in 2010, they renamed it OCAD University. It stands for the Ontario College of Art and Design. It's become known for this floating structure here that was designed by a gentleman named Will Aslop. They had a design contest and he threw his name into the ring with that. And it was, I think, completed in 2005. And it won a number of design contests and awards. I guess it's fitting for a design university to have that kind of structure on its main campus. And I know a lot of people feel rather strongly about OCAD. I kind of like it. It's very different. And just up ahead is Queen Street West. So then I'll cross over and be on Duncan Street. And then I'll head through the old entertainment district. And here's a streetcar loop. You'll notice there's streetcar tracks on McCaul. And that gives both the Queen Street streetcar and the Dundas, and I think even the Carlton streetcar, a place to short turn. As to the west of here, there is no streetcar service along Queen Street. I think it's just buses all the way to Long Branch right now. There's a look into the streetcar loop. So this is Queen, just up ahead. I was reading on my way down here that yesterday the city of Toronto reported only 122 new cases, which seems to be drastically lower than what we've had in recent days. Hopefully that's a good sign of things to come. bump that button there with my elbow. There's a request down Queen, or along Queen. We tend to say along when it's east and west, and up and down when it's a north-south street. Alright, so this is now Duncan Street I'm walking south along the west side of. Although maybe I'll cross over to the east side. There's a Rudy and a mural commemorating the 2019 Raptors Championship. I quite like Rudy. Their hamburgers are definitely an excellent value and they're quite good. There's the Chum Radio building, which I'm pretty sure used to be Whiskey Saigon, a club back in the day when this part of town was all big nightclubs. I think it was changed to either Whiskey A Go-Go or A Go-Go nightclub. I don't really know. Kind of have vague memories of that rattling around. And this is the 5th Social Club on the corner there. That seems to be undergoing an extensive renovation. So this here is Richmond Street West. You can see the 3rd Bay Adelaide Tower starting to rise. There's a lot of old warehouses and that sort of thing in this area. So this here is Nelson Street. And on the corner is an old Toronto hydroelectric substation. That was substation D. I'm just reading that off the sign. That was incorporated into this new condo. Well, it's not that new. The original building goes back to, I think, 1910. I'm trying to remember these dates. And here on the left was one of the earlier victims of these restrictions. A rather beloved Crocodile Rock. This was a bar that wasn't the most expensive place to drink, and it looks like there's plans to put a 68-story, 219-meter tower here. I think I read that the 58-story tower is going in this lot here. There's a look at Bar 244. It's kind of a cheap divey bar. And this is an old building. And here is Pie on the right. That's a Northern Thai restaurant. They recently opened a new location at Yonge and Eglinton. They're known for their cow soy, which is quite good. And here is Gracie O'Malley's, and it looks like their days might be numbered. I think I saw that there's plans for a 48-story tower on this lot. That would be kind of a shame. I remember going there way back in the day. And just down that street, there used to be a bar called Piccadilly Circus. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully they incorporate this old building and nothing happens to Gracie's. I don't really know the exact plans. There's a look to the west or east into the financial district. And this little section is now called Ed Mirvish Way. And these buildings here are slated for redevelopment. This is where the Mirvish-Gary towers are planned to go in. The plans originally called for 3 rather striking towers, but that's been reduced to 2. And I think they were amended once more in January. They'll be 82 and 72 stories high. And this is King Street West, and just to the west there is the Princess of Wales Theatre. And just to the east here is the Royal Alex Theatre. And there were concerns that the theaters might have to go to make way for the new development. However, they are being spared as part of the current plans. And this is the Canada Walk of Fame. It's kind of hard to read the names right now, but I'll come back when it's a bit more clear. There's Roy Thompson Hall. That's where the Toronto Symphony Orchestra plays. That's the Ritz-Carlton on the right, which is blocking the view of the CN Tower. And Metro Hall. Lobster Burger Bar. I have never tried, although I've been to this El Fornello quite a few times. And the Elephant Castle, which is just up ahead here. They used to have a location at Yonge and Gerrard. And this is Simcoe Street. And this would be King and University just up ahead. So if you can recall, I started at university and college. And here we'll find St. Andrew's subway station. Although rather than head down into the station, I think I'll end this video, and I'm thinking of firing up a live stream right now. So I hope you enjoyed this Valentine's Day walk down McCaul Street, as well as Duncan Street, Ed Mirvish Way, and along College, and now King Street West. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day, or at least a better one than I did. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.